Hello everybody, Matthew Armstrong here on day 12. Day 12? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's day 12 of our 90-day transformation program from mediocrity to mastery. And I've got my faithful friend with me to bring me along this journey. I'm following this book, The Values Factor. And so if you haven't got that book yet, you want to get this book, The Values Factor, by Dr. John Demartini. That's what we're working with, right? I have zero affiliation to John Demartini whatsoever. I've just been learning from him from afar for many years in various forms. I met him once and shook his hand and had a little chat with him years ago in Dublin at a seminar. That was it, you know. But I just resonate very strongly with his work, and I get a lot from it. And I thought, you know, how can I get this out to people? How can I learn this on a deeper level, and how can I share it with others? And so this is what I thought of. This is what my bright idea was. This is how I was going to do it. And you know, so there's some questions I ask myself sometimes to move to the next level. You know, when something happens, good or bad, you know, I ask, you know, what's great about this? You know, what can I learn from this? How can I integrate this into my life, and how can I share this with others? You know, and so it's just some of the sort of questions I ask, and that's what the sort of questions I ask with this here. So how can I share this with others? How can I integrate it more deeply into myself, and how can I share it with others? And this 90-day live hangouts that I decided to do is what we're doing. That's how this came about, right? So each time I'm showing you the book and saying, buy this book. But seriously, I have zero affiliation with Dr. John Demartini whatsoever. It's just, you know, out of all the hundreds and hundreds of books I've read on human potential, this is the book that stands out to me above the rest at this time in my life, right? So, you know, please don't take it lightly when I say buy this book. Just go out and buy it. You know, the successful people are the people who just do these things, right? They just make decisions to do it. You can watch this passively, no problem, and you will definitely get something from it. But if you actively do it, if you actually get the book and you follow the program and you do the exercises, wow, you know, what a blessing it is. You know, what a blessing. We're all blessed in our lives, and we're receiving blessings all the time. All the time we're receiving blessings, and it's just up to us to reach out and take hold of that. That's all it takes, right? Because they're all around us. Blessings, great things, amazing things are all around us at all times, right? It's just about seeing what is already there in front of us, you know. So tonight I'm drinking kombucha tea. This is homebrewed kombucha tea. Absolutely excellent. Any chance I get, I recommend it. Again, I have no affiliation to the kombucha tea fairies. Kombucha tea, we don't really know where it comes from. It's a very curious thing. It comes from it's a culture that is brewed with tea and with sugar, and it grows nowhere in nature. And as far as we know, it cannot be manufactured synthetically. It seems like a natural substance. It's like a jelly-like fungus. First reported reports of it was from China 2,650 years ago, where some you know, emperors drank it and called it the elixir of life, elixir of immortality. And it spread from China to Japan and to Korea, and the samurai drank it, and it spread through Russia and eventually came to Europe. And that was over the space of over 2,500 years. And the only way it can survive is if it keeps passing to people. And every time you brew it, it grows and creates another culture, another fungus. Then you have two, and then you create more. And then you give them to people, and then more people have them. And it really is an incredible health and energy drink. Chocolate block full of nutrients, B vitamins, and other essential nutrients as well. And I get great benefit from it, and a lot of people I know do as well. Right? So, you know, I tell you this just because it's good for you. It's good for me. It's good for you. Again, I make no money from telling people about kombucha, but I tell people about kombucha all the time, right? What you have to do is get a culture from somewhere, and then you just grow your own, you know. If you take a culture, it's an amazing thing. If you take a culture and you throw it out in nature, it just shrivels up and disappears. it will not produce more. It can only produce more through humans. Only humans can make more kombucha. If it wasn't for humans, kombucha would die out. So that begs the question, where did kombucha come from? Where did it come from? There's many mysteries in this world, many curious things. Kombucha is one of them. You know, where did it come from? How did it first come about? If in today's age it's not been able to be created synthetically by today's scientists, then how was it created over 2,500 years ago? How did that happen? And where did it come from? It's definitely a big dot on the possibilities of more advanced civilizations back then, and also possibly visitors from other realms, other planets, to bring this possibility, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm about. I'm about stepping into possibilities, about being open to possibilities. And there's definitely a lot of possibilities with the kombucha. So what I want to talk about this evening is how challenges shape our brain. You know, like a lot of people think that, you know, you can only shape your body through exercise, right? And then there's some people that are so disempowering, they think that only other people can shape their body through exercise, and they're doomed with bad genetics. There's nothing that they can do, and they're doomed to be fat or weak or out of shape or skinny or whatever their whole lives. There's nothing they can do about it. Well, but most of us know that's really not the case. Most of us know that no matter what shape you are, you know, what your genetics are, you can mold and shape your body. You know, there are some people that have superior genetics, and they will be able to create, you know, unbelievably chiseled physiques that can stand up on stage and just wow everybody. And there's some people that just aren't going to get to that level, right? Because of simply the length of their muscles and things like that, right? But everyone can get to a very high standard of physical excellence. There's no doubt about that. Everyone can who is able-bodied. And even those people who aren't able-bodied, you see people with no legs swinging around, you know, Paralympics, things like that, you know. So there's no excuses that way. We can all shape our bodies. We all realize that, right? But what about our brains? You know, this is something that a lot of people just think you just, that's it, you know, you get handed your brain, you get issued your brain at birth, and, you know, people think that geniuses are just born and not made. And it's both. Geniuses are just born, and everybody is born a genius. And then we get conditioned not to be a genius. And then, if we so choose, we can take that journey to activating our own genius within ourselves again. You know, I always wondered, right, Muhammad Ali. I looked at Muhammad Ali and I thought, that the confidence he has, the charisma he has. Is it possible? Is he just born with that? And then other people should just like go, well, he was just born like that. I shouldn't even try. You know. And I wondered that for a long time, and now I know differently. Now I know that we are born with that. We're born with that, and also we've been conditioned not to be like that. We can recondition ourselves. We can recondition ourselves to be ultimately confident. I truly believe that if we have a desire to do it, you know. When I was growing up, I just kind of thought that, well, when I grow up, then I'll be really confident because I'll be grown up. I'll be an adult. Do you know what I mean? Everything will just be okay because I'm an adult. And that wasn't really the case. I think I got to the age of 18 and I still seem to have all these insecurities. I still seem to have this lack of confidence, this lack of social confidence and things like that. I thought, okay, well, I'm fully grown now. My brain must be fully developed by now. Maybe that's just it. Maybe that's just it, you know. But there's something inside of me that said, no. There's you can challenge yourself. You challenge yourself, and you'll start to build your confidence, you know. And so I challenge myself in many ways. I love adventure. I love challenge. I love growth. I wanted to see what I was capable of. I wanted to see how far I could go, and I was prepared to do anything. I was prepared to do whatever it takes, right? And so I did stuff. I joined the Royal Marines Commandos, the toughest infantry training, longest and toughest infantry training in the world, and yeah, it challenged me in so many ways, and it shaped me physically and also mentally and emotionally. It reshaped my brain, and it was an incredible experience doing that. And I carried on with that. You know, after I left, I did a lot of traveling, and traveling is a great way to reshape your brain as well. Because you go to different countries, you're taking in stimulus from all your different senses, you're meeting different people. You know, if you just stay in the same place your whole life and you don't move, you shrink in a lot of ways because you're so used to the same routine, the same program, and that's all you do. You just follow that same program every day, and then there's parts of your brain that just go dormant. They just shrink and just almost die off, just become dormant because they're not being activated. Because they don't need to be activated because they know that they've just got their little route every day that they go to work. They're the same people they see, the same thing they do, and that's it. You know. But I wanted to expand. So I did a lot of traveling. I went and trained in martial arts all over the world. I put myself in challenging situations and got challenging jobs just to challenge myself, you know, to get better, to improve. I remember when I was living in Japan, I had an option of getting this really cushy job. It's just what people who went to Japan, foreigners, really like to get, working in a high school where you have these really good hours starting at 9 in the morning and finishing at 3 or something like that. These great hours and this, you know, cushy pay and a really cushy job, working as an assistant, not even an English teacher, but an assistant English teacher in a school, and getting this pretty decent wage for it every month, pretty decent salary, and all these other perks. It was like a really cushy number, and I was offered one of those, and they were going to get me my what do you call it, my visa and all that sort of stuff. And then I saw this other job. I remember just flicking through the Japan Times, what's it called? Japan Times, I think it was called, and seeing this job for a salesperson in a high-rise in Tokyo, selling corporate hospitality packages for sporting events and things like that. And I thought that'll be a challenge. That'll be a real challenge, you know. And I had the cushy job there, and I had the challenge, and I went for the challenge. I went for the challenging position, and it challenged me. It really did. I worked there for a month, and there was no pay. All they paid was my train fare every day, and that was it. And it took me a month to make my first sale. And I was hitting that phone hard. I was making up to 300 phone calls every single day for a month before I made my first sale. And I said, it's going to come, it's going to come. Just keep going, just keep going. And I made a few big sales, and you could make big sales and make big commissions. So after a month, a few things started coming back. People that I talked to previously, and I did okay there. I did okay. Made a few big sales and did okay. I had a fear of the phone before that. I had a fear of the phone. I had a fear of speaking on the phone. It improved my communication skills. And so I always chose the challenging road for whatever reason. I always chose it, and it helped me to grow. It helped me to become who I am. So whenever you see the easy road, the challenging road, especially if it's within your, if it's in alignment with your mission and purpose and highest values and everything, go for it. I knew it was important. I wanted to improve my communication skills. Being an assistant English teacher really wanted to, like little kids, really wasn't going to do it. But going and speaking to CEOs and high executives and businesses all over Tokyo, that was going to do it. And trying to sell them on our packages, that was going to do it, right? So that's the sort of challenging situations I put myself into to help myself grow, to help myself expand, to master my life. I didn't want to be mediocre. I didn't want to be the mediocre assistant English teacher, you know. I wanted to excel. I wanted to master communication. I wanted to not have a limit on my income. There was no limit on my income. If whatever sales I made commissions. If I worked in the job, I didn't get that. I had my set wage every month, and it was cushy, but you know, that's mediocrity. Do you want the convenience? Do you want the cushiness, the comfort, Or do you want to challenge yourself? Do you want to grow? Do you want some adventure? Do you want to be daring? Do you want to be bold? That's another road, and that choice is yours, right? So, you know, now we're going to read through the next section, which I find fascinating. This next section of the values factor by Dr. John Demartini. It's fascinating, this bit, so really listen up. I find it really fascinating, like the biology of achievement and things like that, how the brain works. Did you do your exercise, by the way, yesterday? By the way, if this is your first hangout you're watching, then make sure you go back and watch the first one. Go into the YouTube channel, Be Your Potential, and watch the first one and watch them all sequentially and follow through with everything, and that's how you'll get the maximum benefit. Otherwise, you might not be fully with it with what we're talking about, because this is a process over 90 days. How challenges shape your brain. Challenges don't only awaken us to our highest values, they also literally reshape our brains, primarily through our brain's glial cells. These are specialized cells in our brains that are in many cases more numerous than our nerve cells, sometimes by a factor as high as 10 to 1. When we're fulfilling our highest values and doing challenging work that inspires us, our glial cells support our neurons by myelinization, the strengthening and thickening of the myelin sheaths that surround the nerve cells in our brain and spinal cord. These sheaths, composed of protein and fatty substances, help neurons transmit impulses so that they can move more quickly and efficiently within our brains. Further myelinization results from pursuing problems or difficulties that equally support and challenge our highest values, and that at the same time inspire us. These inspiring challenges cause new synapses to form, connecting our brain cells with one another in new and more complex ways. Accordingly, our ability to think, reason, analyze, and create expands. Thus, fulfilling our highest values leads our brain to refine and elevate its internal communication, allowing it and us to reach a higher potential. By the same token, when we encounter obstacles that we view one-sidedly, when we desire support that we believe we are not getting, when we feel that our growth is being blocked or stunted, when we do not feel inspired, and when we are not fulfilling our highest values, our brain begins to demyelinate and even degenerate. It makes fewer internal connections, diminishes nerve cells, and experiences a thinning of the myelin sheath. In short, tackling the challenges that inspire us helps our brains, while living according to other people's values and being saddled with uninspiring challenges is a hindrance to our brains. The key thing here is that each of us decides what inspires us according to our own highest values. I cannot decide what should inspire you any more than you can decide what should inspire me. As spouses, friends, employers, and parents, we're wise to consider this before being tempted to impose our own highest values onto others, since what inspires them might seem unfulfilling to us, and vice versa. For example, a teenage boy who is riveted by a video game is literally remolding his brain while playing because he is inspired by the game. Each new level that the teenager solves spurs him to go up to another more difficult level. As the brain prepares for the level, the game advances and the teenager continues, challenging his brain to master a new level of complexity. Because each new level of the game is a new type of inspiring challenge, pursuing and mastering those challenges leads to further growth in that boy's skills and in his brain. If you too love video games, you will immediately resonate with this example. If, like some people, you find them uninvigorating or even boring, you might have difficulty even imagining how they might be inspiring, let alone beneficial to the brain. But I assure you that ever-inspiring challenge literally recreates our brain into a more complex organ that functions on a higher level. The key is to make sure that the challenge is inspiring to us. If a challenge is only frustrating because it's too easy, too hard, or simply not in line with our highest values, tackling it will not initiate the same thickening of the myelin sheath, the same increase in glial cells, or the same general enhancement of brain function. What is true for the video games is true for any area of human endeavor. The dancer who strives to reach an ever-larger audience, or who pushes herself to express still more profound insights through her movement, the doctor who seeks to improve the wellness of ever more patients, or who pushes himself to delve even more deeply into the mysteries of wellness and illness, the educator who develops new approaches to familiar topics, or who pushes herself to a greater understanding of how people learn, all of these people are reshaping their brains as they continue to face the challenges that inspire them. All of them are growing physically as well as mentally, spiritually. All of them have come to embrace the value of inspiring challenges, and both they and the world are richer for it. Predator or prey? The necessary balance between support and challenge is built into our very physiology. Our autonomic nervous system, the parts of our bodies that regulate automatic or involuntary functions such as breathing, sleep, digestion, sexual response, and many other cellular functions, is divided into two subsystems: the sympathetic nervous system, which regulates the fight or flight response, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which regulates the rest and digest response. These two systems fit into the food chain built right into our planet's ecosystem. A food chain must include both predators and prey, otherwise it wouldn't work. Every creature on the food chain both eats and is eaten, is both predator and prey. We humans too are both predators and prey, and the two aspects of our nervous system reflect that. Our sympathetic nervous system is designed to help us instinctively escape from predators when we encounter a potential threat, anything from a raging tiger to an angry boss to an unmet deadline to a frustrating traffic jam. Our body floods with cortisol, which cues our muscles to tense, our eyes to widen, our breathing to speed up, and our hearts to race. Our entire physiology mobilizes to fight, freeze, or run away in our efforts to avoid being eaten. The parasympathetic nervous system is designed to help us consume our own prey. It includes the digestive system, the sexual response, and the relaxation response. Everything that enables us to consume food, reproduce our species, and rest up for another day. For optimal wellness, both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic systems must be functioning at peak efficiency and in balance. When they're in balance, we experience wellness, promoting eustress, a scientific term that essentially means pleasant stress, or inspiring challenges. When our systems are in balance, we experience illness, generating distress that is uninspiring challenges. Our emotional responses are shaped by those physical responses. Sometimes as prey, we fear approaching threats, the parent who might berate us, the romantic partner who consumes us, the responsibility that will drain us. Sometimes as predators, we fear losing that which we seek, the loved one that we wish to claim for our own, the job that brings fulfillment and prestige, the deep satisfaction of a victory or accomplishment. In other words, challenge and support are not simply psychological phenomena. These responses operate on a physical level. As we just saw, challenge activate the sympathetic nervous system. They oxidize and acidify our bodies, creating catabolic responses that cause us to lose weight and muscle mass, as well as initiating apoptosis, or reprogrammed cell death. Support, on the other hand, activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It also makes us more reduced and alkaline, creating anabolic responses that cause us to gain weight and to build muscle mass, as well as initiating mitosis, or reprogrammed cell division and growth. Like oxidation reduction is a chemical process that can occur within our bodies. Out of the balance between these two types of responses, we achieve the optimal growth and development that is known to occur at the border between challenge and support, or at the border between disorder and order. This is a physiological concept and the way our bodies are designed to work. For more on the connection between the values factor and wellness, see chapter 10. We'll get there eventually, yeah? In other words, our bodies and minds are designed for a mix of both challenges and support. To grow to our highest level and to fulfill our mission, we need a balance of both. The symptoms of our illnesses, as mentioned previously, may be our body's way of awakening us to the importance of balance, the value of embracing both sides of life's equation equally, and the benefits of living true to our highest values. Our bodies are trying to teach us the values factor. Okay, I will leave it at there for today because the next is a story that goes on for a number of pages. So we're just going to leave it there. But what about that, huh? To me, that's just like, yeah, love it. And it's not weird, but it is weird in a way that at school I hated science, couldn't stand it, and I failed it. If John Demartini was my science teacher, I'm sure I would have just passed with honors, because I just love that stuff now. You know, I love that stuff. And in science in school, I was not inspired. I was not inspired by there was little that inspired me in school, to be honest. Most of my learning came after school. I've learned so much more since school, reading books like this, going to workshops, going to seminars, meeting amazing people and having conversations, watching interviews, interviewing people. You know, that's sort of stuff that inspires me, seeking out outstanding people in the world in different fields and learning from them. That's what I find inspiring. It's when you did your values, finding out your values, your top five values, my third value down, just reading, learning, discovering, researching. I just love that. It's my third highest values. That's what came up when I did that 13-part questionnaire and did all the tests. Hope you did that, because it makes all the difference, right? You'll learn so much about yourself from doing that. So where are you right now? That's what I would like to know. I'd like to hear from you. You know, please leave me a message. Please leave me a message. Leave a comment. Ask a question. Like I said, I can answer questions. Any questions you have about what we're doing or anything at all that's relevant. You know, please leave your questions, and I can intertwine them in to these hangouts as we move forward. I'm going to wrap it up there for this evening now, because I'm really hungry. I did a workout on the beach, and I was with some friends in the sun, and then I came back here. I didn't have time to eat, so I just had this kombucha, and I can feel now that my glucose levels, I need to go and get some glucose into my system, because my brain is starting to slow down a little bit. All right. So if you want to get regular updates on emails, if you want to join my team, you're welcome to. You can click on the link below this and do that and see what we're doing, see the movement that we're in, what we're creating, creating financial freedom online, wherever you're on the world. It's a level playing field these days. That's what I love about it. It's absolutely fantastic. And I'd like to maybe one day meet you in person. If you're following this, we're kindred spirits. If you're doing this with me, fantastic. Maybe we're already friends. I don't know, all the people who are watching this. Sometimes I get surprised. Some people say, "Oh yeah, I watch this." I'm like, "Really?" You know, it's a great thing. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I shall see you again tomorrow at this time again, and I look forward to it. Now I'm going to go eat. Thanks very much. See you again tomorrow. No exercise for tonight. No homework. Rest easy. Look over your previous values, the previous things you've done, and reevaluate them. That's maybe the homework. Okay, see you then.